Hi, have you ever thought about living abroad? No? Nah, neither have we. Alright, that's a lie. We have thought about it. In fact, we're actually kind of in the process of doing it. Maybe I should explain a little more. Hi, my name is Rick Higgins, and I am moving to Spain. Barcelona to be specific. Now, why do you care? Because maybe you're interested in doing this too? Nikki and I have been there twice already, both times on a tourist visa, and what that means is we're limited to 3 months at a time out of every 6 months. Under a tourist visa, you have a set amount of time where you are allowed to be in country. With a non-lucrative visa, or a work visa, or a student visa, you have to be in country at least 6 months out of every year. Now, I don't know if that's a rolling year or a calendar year. Still got to figure that one out. All right, let's do the basics. What is a non-lucrative visa? Well, it's exactly like what it sounds. It means you can't be lucrative. You can't have a job. You can't have a job in Spain that takes a job away from a Spaniard. You can't be a burden on their society. So it's essentially retiring there. That's one of the options. You have enough money in the bank to prove that you can live there responsibly, putting money into their economy, and they're happy to have you. Now, there is another version of the non-lucrative visa, and this varies from consulate to consulate. Everyone across the states is sadly, unfortunately, typically different. You can also be a remote worker, meaning I could work for a company that's based out of Los Angeles or New York, and I'm a digital nomad and I can wander, and wherever I am is where I work. Sometimes some consulates will let you get away with that as an excuse for getting a non-lucrative visa. We've been told that the one in Miami where we're applying, that they're a little iffy on it. Doesn't matter, we're going in on the I have enough money to survive. What do you need to get a non-lucrative visa? Well, you need paperwork. Lots and lots of paperwork. I'm going to read you some. Here's a list in no specific order. You're going to need your driver's license. You're going to need your passport. You're going to need your bank statements. You're going to need 2 pictures of passport size. Criminal records stamped by the FBI, apostilled, and translated. Now here's the thing. Translation. A lot of these documents have to be translated. You can't go find your neighbor Julio and have him do it. It has to be an approved translator. Anyway, let's keep going. You also need a medical certificate signed by your doctor that says, well, you're healthy. You also need to prove your local residence there. Now, for us, that means we're getting an Airbnb up front for 2.5 months while we decide on a neighborhood, but more on that in a second. Continuing on, you also need medical health insurance with the correct conditions. What that means is no deductible, full coverage. Now, I don't know how much it costs. That's one of those big question marks we've got coming up. And you need a letter of intent. The non-lucrative visa can apply to single people, and it can apply to married people. I am neither. Nikki and I, well, we live in sin, but we're domestic partners. Now, the Miami consulate, and I'm assuming other consulates, will allow you to do this thing called a domestic partnership agreement. It is a form, a legal document through the state of Florida that says Nikki and I are responsible for each other, that we love each other and we're in a relationship, we're just not married. Now, the Spanish consulate accepts this, fortunately, which means Nikki can get onto my NLV application. Sorry, that was really hard to get that out. How do you do this? You can do it yourself. There are a ton of Google searches, tons of Google horror stories. We opted to get an attorney. Now, I wanted to do this because nothing against the country of where I'm about to reside, but Spanish bureaucracy is difficult. I didn't want to go to an appointment, only have a piece of paper not quite right, go back to the beginning of the line, start all over. A lot of times getting appointments is a nightmare. Although the Miami consulate doesn't do appointments. We show up at 8 in the morning and sit and wait, and we'll see how long that takes. But back to my attorney. We hired a group called Global Immigration, and specifically our attorney's name is Isabella. Now the reason we hired them is because they have experience. They know how to fill out the forms, they know how to get into relationships with the consulate and with the other folks in country, they know how to grease the wheels. And that is something that I really, really desired to have because it's just worth it. Now, it is not cheap. What did we pay? 800 euros for me, 500 euros for Nikki. We're still going to have to pay translation services, apostle fees, all the document fees. We're going to pay for everything else. That is just attorney's fees for Isabella to do her thing, and so far her magic has been magical. Getting your non-lucrative visa requires you to apply for it outside of Spain, in your home country, the United States in our case. Now, once you get the paperwork done and you have your appointment and they give you the visa, you ain't done yet. There is plenty more paperwork to do once you're in country, and for us, that's where the attorney is going to come in very handy. You have to make appointments with various agencies. I don't know them all. I know there are some police stations where it happens, and oftentimes you go to the wrong one. Again, that's why we have a greaser. But once you get in country, you have a certain amount of time, 30 days I believe, to get your NIE, TIE, there's something IE. I'll tell you all about it in a second. But you actually have to go there. It's a form that you fill out, you take your paperwork, your visa, they give you an actual card, and voila, you're a resident. Timing, we need to discuss timing. All the documents that you have to bring have to be fresh, meaning in the Miami consulate's view, within a couple of months. So when we get the FBI report that says we ain't criminals, or Bonnie and Clyde, it has to be completed by them, apostilled and translated, all within 2 months of our appointment. Otherwise, maybe we snuck in a bank robbery. All of the documents are like that, whether it's from your doctor, whether it's from your bank, wherever it is, you kind of have to plan backwards from your appointment date. So take into account lag times, mailing, translation, the U.S. government. Plan well. Now, why are we doing this? And that's a very valid question. We could easily go back to Barcelona and spend 3 months at a time. And honestly, I think Nikki would probably be kind of happy with that. But for me, I wanted more. There is something about Barcelona that I just love. Nikki said it once when we first got there 2 years ago, that she didn't understand, how can you be homesick for a place that you've never been to? Well, that's how I feel. I love Barcelona. The city is international. There's a flavor. There's so much beauty, so much culture. It's such a central hub to get everywhere else that you could possibly want to see. And I want to be there more, not just 3 months at a time. Now, a lot of that has to do with social, with plugging into people, both the expat community and the local community. I didn't feel like our 3-month stints gave me an opportunity to really settle in. And I want the chance to do that. All right, that's been a lot of information, but it really has only scratched the surface. There is a blog post on our site, and I'm going to put the links down below. It's called Becoming a Global Citizen. It has all the hairy, gory details, all the links, the questions, the thoughts, the issues, the accomplishments, everything that we've actually are going through and have gone through to make this happen are on that link. So look below, click on it, follow it. It's a living thing, and cross your fingers for us. Now that's about it. The date for the move we have is May 1st is when we land. That's when we have our Airbnb. It's when we get our airline tickets. So hopefully the Spanish government will yea verily us and let us move in. Otherwise we're there for another tourist 3-month stint. I hope it doesn't come to that. I really want to be a Barcelonian. Barcelonite. Whatever. Thanks for watching. Do keep up with that link that I mentioned down below, and watch out for more videos, because who knows what hijinks are going to happen during this process. I do know on May 1st we are going to be there because we have our airline tickets, we got our Airbnb, and we got a hell of a lot of desire. So anyway, subscribe, like, send in your comments. I would especially love to hear some comments from you if you're an expat, thought about being an expat, or have gotten any kind of visa or not. And we'd love to hear from you and share some of your experiences too. And in the meantime, be a pirate and go wander off to Spain.